Hi, my name is Ellie. Welcome to the BBC School News Report. Today our top story, educational cuts through creative arts at secondary school. Today, me and my colleague Lucy interviewed Mr Ging, Head of Drama here at the Embrook School. I'm here with Mr Ging, who is Head of Department of Drama at the Embrook School. So sir, you've been a teacher at the Embrook School for quite some time. What first inspired you to become a drama teacher?
First thing that inspired me was my then teacher, Mr Price, who was up until recently a teacher here.
Yeah.
And it wasn't that I wanted to be a teacher straight away. When I left school, I wanted to be an airfighter pilot and work for the Air Force. And then at the end of university, he met up with me, arranged an interview, and we sat down, and he said that he thought my skills lay in working with other human beings, particularly with children. And so I went and I did a course at Yateley Manor Independent, which was just a year's gap year, and from there decided I quite liked it and wanted to go into teaching and sort of rekindle my passion for drama. Trained at Reading University and then got a job here.
You've come across many pupils, a lot with ambition. What about a pupil makes them successful in the arts?
In the arts as a career?
Yeah, as a career-wise.
I would think probably it's an incredibly difficult career to get into.
Yeah.
And it's an incredibly difficult career to forge a successful path in. So I would say one of the biggest things would be determination. I think that any student, any pupil, any professional who wants to work in theatre or film or media in any way needs to be prepared for knockbacks and needs to be prepared to kind of take that on the chin and move forward with that. So I would say that determination is really important. Hand in hand with that, I would say creativity is right to the heart of it. You need to be able to think creatively if you're going to succeed in any artistic subject, and be able to be flexible with the way that you work. You are, at the end of the day, working with a whole load of people who've got a range of very specific creative ideas. You need to be able to adjust the way you think to suit them.
Obviously, being a drama teacher, you must have a love of the arts. So what actors and directors do you admire, and why do you admire them?
Two directors at the moment who I think are particularly important. The first one for me is Scott Graham, who is one of the major theatre directors for Frantic Assembly and works in a style of theatre that I really very much enjoy. And I think he creates some quite electrifying, quite modern theatre, which I really appreciate. So he would be like my number one. I think it's difficult to think about theatre at the moment without talking about Katie Mitchell, who works an awful lot with adaptation. She takes quite classical texts and she reworks them and represents them. She does a lot with Chekhov and a lot with Shakespeare. And she has a huge amount of criticism out there where people think that she takes theatre away from the text. And I can see where they're coming from, but I think she's edgy, I think she's dangerous, I think she's very fresh and very intelligent in the way that she works. So those would be my directors, who I would say are right at the heart of theatre at the moment. In terms of performers, I've got a huge soft spot, one male, one female. Tom Hiddleston at the moment is one of my favourite performers on stage, and I think he is dynamic. I think he's great to watch. I think he's got a real sense of danger and risk to him, which is lovely. And then from a female point of view, I'm constantly captivated by Kate Fleetwood, who is a wonderful Shakespearean and classically trained actress whose control of facial expression and performance skill emotively on stage is wonderful.
Obviously, as head of department, you take responsibility of directing and choosing GCSE productions. So recently you chose DNA for school production.
Yeah, got Dennis Kelly.
What made you choose it?
We've done 2 years of big productions. One was Macbeth and one was Our Country's Good, which were very large scale and very period specific pieces of theatre. And both were quite male heavy. And so I wanted to do something that was a little bit different, that was more modern, that was more contemporary, that reflected more kind of what the school's about and what theatre at the moment is about. It also meant that I could give that whole Scott Graham Frantic Assembly approach a little bit more of a try in the school context. And so I wanted something that was very studio based, that was quite self-contained, a smaller cast and not a huge amount of length in performance, and much more modern. So that was kind of the reason why I selected it.
The government currently making a lot of changes to the curriculum, especially the arts, performing arts being affected. How do you think as a teacher, you and your pupils will be impacted by the government's educational cuts?
Significantly, I would say. As with any subject in education, if there's fewer students taking the subject and less money, within it, then we're going to have to cut corners and we're going to have to work a little bit smarter, a little bit harder. I don't think it's going to affect us at Embrook as much as it might do other schools in other places. We are quite good with being creative, we are quite good with being quite sneaky with the way that we do things in many ways, and we will find more than one way of delivering drama within the school context, and we'll try and engage as many people as possible. It will have an effect, no doubt, but we will do our best to work around it.
Alright, well thank you, that's all my questions.
You're welcome.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Government educational cuts are affecting creative subjects such as drama and art. This is because new government policies are not supporting these subjects. This could be down to the fact that creative subjects have not always been viewed as equally important as other subjects have been. Based off statistics, wealthy students who are put in private schools are more likely to be under the influence of the performing arts. So students at state schools are becoming deprived of experiencing creative subjects.